Lexus's recent announcement to go fully battery electric by 2030 has brought levels of excitement to the brand that we haven't seen since 1989 when the luxury arm of Toyota began. Gorgeous designs and a full lineup of practical and performance models has Lexus fans and even outsiders wanting to own a Lexus BEV. However, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, as many longtime Lexus owners want nothing to do with batteries, electric motors, and range anxiety. So in order to change some of their legacy customers' minds, Lexus has devised a master plan. Will this plan work, or will Lexus be losing some of its most loyal customers? Over at Automotive News, Toyota lays out Lexus EV future. There's so much information in here. Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, my name's Kirk. I began this channel mainly as a Lexus channel. So if you're into Japanese cars or Korean cars, make sure you're subscribed to the bell icon. And let's dig into this master plan for Lexus and their battery electric future. Now, if you've been living under a rock, Lexus showed a full battery electric lineup. Should be available by 2030. The RZ450E is coming out this year, well, should I say in 2022, and they even have an LFA replacement or successor with the battery electric sports vehicle 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. So what is Lexus's secret plan to succeed in the competitive luxury EV segment? Well, really that's the only EV segment right now is quote unquote luxury. They're all expensive anyways. So they're going to use courtesy fleets maintained by its dealers. These are service cars or loaner cars that if you bring your car into service, let's say for a long service or it needs some major work done, Lexus will give you a loaner car. And every single dealership, depending on the size, has a bunch of service cars ranging from the UX, the RX, NX, ES. Some of them will even have IS or LC or LS loaners. Those are pretty rare. Those are probably for your really, really big markets, especially in California or Florida. So they're planning to use courtesy fleets or service loaners for those wanting to buy or lease its upcoming EVs, and they need to travel beyond where charging infrastructure is built out, explained Andrew Gilliland. And I sat down with Andrew at the Lexus NX Media Drive, and we talked a lot about minivans, go figure, but he's a really cool dude, he's really funny. He says, we're talking about how we can leverage our dealers in terms of giving a better experience for battery electric customers. And those are two things that Tesla is struggling with. While they don't have a dealer network, there's a pro and con to that. And the big con is that you can't provide timely and immediate customer service. So Lexus having probably the best customer service as well as reputation out there for treating their customers is going to leverage that going into battery electric vehicles. And I didn't expect them to involve their dealers in this sort of level. Now, Andrew also says the brand will offer a subscription service baked into the cost of EVs that entitle customers to borrow gasoline, electric hybrids, or plug-in hybrids from Lexus dealers for as many as 30 days to ease concerns over whether an EV can fully replace their current gasoline-powered vehicle. So we'll get more details on the subscription service closer to the launch of the RZ450E, which is probably going to be late 2022. And so a subscription service, while already paying for your battery electric vehicle, just to be able to rent or lease a service car to go travel. I mean, it's really, really smart, but I have so many questions about it, and we're going to go into those questions. Is this subscription service a month-to-month program? Can I just say, well, in Christmas, I'm going to go travel to Colorado and I don't want to bring my EV. And I would have the benefit of not racking up a bunch of miles in my brand new expensive electric car. And it would significantly speed up my travels by not having to stop and charge for a while or look for a specific charging station. Can I reserve a car that's a segment below or above, or maybe a sports car? Let's say I have the RZ. Will I be able to get any service loaner that I want at that department? And how much money are we talking about for the subscription service? I feel like they're going to have to offer more than just renting a service loaner to get people to buy into this method. How often can you have a service loaner? They said as long as 30 days, but can I have it every other month? Is there a blackout date between times I can rent the vehicle? And why isn't there just a one-time rental fee instead of a subscription fee? Now, will these loaner fleets by the dealerships have to massively expand, incurring a big cost on the dealers to expand their service fleet? Because not only are you offering your service cars to people who have gotten in an accident, who are waiting for their car to get fixed, or a long service interval, you're also having to balance long-term checkouts of your service fleet. I think they would have to spend a ton of money just to expand their service lineup. And then you also have all these battery electric vehicles of customers who are traveling sitting on your dealership lot. Are you going to have a full-time battery charging assistant to charge these batteries of these electric vehicles, to shuffle them around once they're topped off to make sure the batteries are full when the customer comes back? And does this mean you're also going to need a massive amount of chargers installed at each single dealership, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more? And since you would have to have such a big infrastructure put in with all these chargers, could you reduce the amount of structures needed if you don't have cars available to purchase there? Is Lexus eventually going to go to order only, where you essentially just have a showroom, you see the model that you want, you can test drive it, etc. You can see the different paint colors in terms of what they look like. Of course, you're not going to have every single paint color of the model there, different interior options, things like that. Is it going to be more like a Tesla showroom where you can see the vehicles, maybe test drive them, and then you just place your order there at the dealership? I think it's looking more and more that way, as electric vehicles just require so much more infrastructure compared to gasoline cars at this point. And that would mean the lot that dealerships have would be mainly used for hybrids, plug-in hybrids for new cars, and then also for the used cars that get traded in there. What's going to happen to the Lexus LX? The Lexus LX is supposed to last a long time because it's based on the Land Cruiser platform, meaning over a decade of it being on the market. We know we're getting a hybrid LX by 2025. Are they going to be able to convert it to both fully battery electric? Or are they just going to cancel the LX by 2030 and just leave the Land Cruiser for the rest of the world? It's really strange. I know there's a lot of questions that I ran through, but there's still more to the article we need to talk about. Interestingly, Automotive News reminds us that Fiat tried something similar back in the early 2010s with its Fiat 500e using rental cars from Enterprise. They're not going to shell out garbage rental cars to these Lexus customers. They'll be brand new hybrid or plug-in hybrid vehicles from their own service lots that are perfectly maintained. Not going to be some cheap Enterprise fleet. And thanks to Tesla, 15% of the luxury market is now battery electric. But when you compare it to the overall market, it's only 2 to 3% and supposed to grow to 4% by next year. But the rate of EV growth in the luxury part is going to definitely outpace the mass market. Andrew Gillen says Lexus is working with an outside contractor to visit the brand's 243 US dealerships, each and every one of them, to determine what will be needed in their individual markets to be able to sell EVs successfully. And they're hoping that when you buy your EV through Lexus, they'll be able to head to your home and set up a fast charger, which opens up a whole new issue. I mean, it sounds amazing. How much is it going to cost? How are Lexus dealerships going to be able to front this? Is Lexus just going to commission a third-party company to install these Lexus chargers in people's houses? Or is it going to be like a full-time electrician at each individual dealership? Now, Automotive News is like usually right about everything that they post. That's why I refer to them so much. However, they're a little confused about this portion here. They're saying that the RZ is going to have 435 miles with an acceleration time will be in the low 2-second range. Koji Sato was referring to the sports battery electric vehicle when he was giving us these figures. So the RZ is going to be like a 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds and probably around 250 miles of range at most. That's what I'm expecting. We won't see 435 miles on a Lexus EV until solid state batteries are available, and that's at least 2025. So Lexus's plan to utilize its dealer network, which is arguably the best in the United States, in order to give them service loaners when they need to travel out of town and they don't want to take their battery electric vehicle. It makes a lot of sense, and I believe that Lexus could execute it better than any other manufacturer out there. I just see it as a huge investment for the dealers in order to have such a large service fleet in order to do so, and there's just so many questions about this subscription service. How much is it going to be? You could just rent from Enterprise or Hertz and not pay a subscription at that point as well. So I just have a lot of questions about this thing, and hopefully we'll have more answers when the RZ is officially announced later in 2022. But with the lineup as good as what Lexus has shown us, at least when it comes to designs, and given us delicious specs like 0 to 60 around 2 seconds and the LFA successor, you have 3-row crossovers, you have an IS EV that just looks drop dead gorgeous, and then you also have a convertible 2 liftbacks, which bring back we only had one Lexus liftback. Well, if you don't count the CT, which maybe we'll get a replacement for the CT based off that image we saw. Well, we've only had one technically, and that was the IS300 Sport Cross. So I couldn't be more excited for Lexus's future. I have so many questions, more after reading this article than I did previously. Right? The more you know, the more you don't. But you guys are smarter than me, so I'll see you guys down below on how you think Lexus can carry this mission out, this secret plan to dominate the EV market by utilizing their dealers. And where Tesla sees dealers as added weight, more cost, reducing profits, Lexus has this big infrastructure built up, over 240 dealerships, that is a huge asset for them to bring in customer care and a wonderful experience into a battery electric future. Time will tell, and I'll see you guys down below. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.